What's up everybody? Today I'll be reviewing the Little Italy in Respawnables. This weapon is a bullet-based assault weapon that you unlock at level 6 and it costs 40 gold. As you can see, the weapon's main stats are 3 damage, 2 range, 3 accuracy, and 2 agility. The weapon also has some additional skins, and here are all of them as of the recording of this video. But with that all out of the way, let's jump into the first match. In this review, I'll be covering all of the stats of the Little Italy, but do keep in mind that a lot of the information might not be 100% accurate since I don't have the official weapon stats because they haven't been given to me by Digital Legends. But with some stats like the ammo capacity, you can just easily tell what they are. So I mean, you would think that this weapon would come with 45 rounds in a clip, but you would actually be wrong since originally this weapon could only hold 30 rounds in a clip. But because I've purchased the extra ammo and machine gun skill from the skill tree, which by the way you need to be level 6 in order to unlock it, and you also need 688 cash to purchase it, this weapon gets a 50% increase in its ammo capacity, which is obviously great. So I definitely recommend you buy this skill if you want to play with the Little Italy because it's easily one of the best things you can do to buff the weapon. Now let's move on to the damage, which just like with most of the assault weapons in this game is very low. I think the gun has around 5.9 damage as it took exactly 17 rounds to kill a player with no additional health. But of course this is just an estimated amount. Of course with no official weapon stats, it's very difficult for me to know how much damage it actually does per shot. This weapon also, just like a lot of other weapons in the game, features damage drop off, meaning that the further an enemy is away from you, the less damage you'll deal to them. However, it is worth pointing out that this weapon's damage drop off is not that severe. It really only is noticeable in the long ranges. In mid-range, it's fine. You just have to shoot a few more times to kill your enemy. But you're probably looking at having to shoot over 25 rounds to kill most players in the game. So you really can only get one kill with this thing. So I would recommend that you would reload after every single kill that you get. Unless you're in a situation where you can of course get a double kill and you know the enemy is weak enough to kill them with your remaining 20 rounds or so. Now let's move on to the Little Italy's range, which is pretty good. You're definitely able to hit long range targets, however you're really not able to deal much damage to them. Now the accuracy and precision of the Little Italy are also pretty good. You might miss a few more shots in long range, but that really isn't anything out of the ordinary. And this weapon, just like a lot of other weapons in the game, features a reduction in accuracy while moving. So I do want to emphasize that the reduction in accuracy while moving with the Little Italy is a little bit more than with most weapons that feature a reduction in accuracy while moving. It's not the worst defender of this, but it is worth mentioning. So now on to your agility while using the Little Italy, which is great. It only took about 11 seconds to reach from one side of Royal Garden to the other, which is my speed or agility test that I usually use for my reviews. And this is definitely a little bit quicker than what most assault weapons are able to achieve. The Little Italy also has a great fire rate of about 10.3 rounds per second, which means their entire 45 round clip will be emptied in about 4.37 seconds. And to kill the enemy that had no additional health, which again that took 17 rounds, that will take you about 1.65 seconds. So it's pretty much guaranteed I will be shooting for around 2 seconds, maybe a little bit more to kill most players in the game. Now on to the reload speed, which is pretty good. It only took about 1.74 seconds to reload, which is not bad at all. And then lastly, the velocity is an instant hit, so you shouldn't have to worry about having to shoot ahead of the enemy to hit them. Just make sure your crosshairs are on them, and most of the time you'll hit them. Now a big tip that I have for you guys, as you probably know already, this weapon really isn't that powerful, so try to not play too aggressively while using it. Personally, I like to use stun grenades with it because the enemies aren't able to shoot back at you, giving you a huge advantage. And also, sneaking up behind enemies is also pretty effective because it gives them less time to react. And stun grenades are also pretty cheap, so you're not going to be losing too much cash, so they definitely come recommended. And it looks like we finished the first match, so let's take a look at how many kills and how many deaths we got. And it looks like we've got 12 kills and 5 deaths, which isn't the best score, but the Little Italy is definitely not the best weapon in the game either, so it matches up quite well. So now for the second match, we're playing in Frozen Bay, which is a long-range map, as opposed to the previous match when we were playing in Headquarters, which is probably the most close-range map in the game. And actually, believe it or not, I believe that the Little Italy is not suited for either one of those maps. I actually think it's best suited for mid-range maps, something along the lines of Snow Village. And this is because we talked about how at long range, the weapon's damage is too low to compete, but even in close range, the weapon's damage is still too low, even though it's higher than at long range. It's still too low for the very powerful close range weapons. So, you know, you want to be able to keep some distance between you and them, and that's why I think that mid-ranged maps are the best option for the Little Italy. But of course, that doesn't mean that the Little Italy is the best option for mid-ranged maps. Now, I'm sure you've already noticed that we are using different gear in comparison to the last match when we were using noob clothes and we weren't using any masteries, while in this match we do have the masteries equipped, and again we're also using way better clothes. And this is because I want to show you how this weapon performs under a massive buff. So for the head, we are using the aggressive carnival mask, which increases our weapon's damage by 5%. Then for the body, we are using the mobile assisted unit jacket, which increases our weapon's damage by 20%. And then lastly, for the legs, we are using the Celtic pants, which again gives us a little damage boost. And it is noticeable, but I don't know the actual amount. So if you know how much it actually increases this weapon's damage while using the Celtic pants, please let me know with a comment. And please put some proof behind it. Now on to the masteries. So we're using Burning Spirit 1, which increases our accuracy while moving by 50%. Then we are using Burning Spirit 2, which increases our reload speed while moving by 25%. And this ends up bringing the reload time from about 1.74 seconds to about 1.22 seconds. We are also using Burning Spirit 3, which increases our rate of fire by 25% while moving. However, I found no rate of fire increase while using this with the Little Italy, so hopefully Digital Legends fixes this in a future update. I've also equipped Glass Cannon, which increases this weapon's damage by another 100%. And finally, I'm also using Zombie Bull, which isn't really a buff to the weapon, but it does give our health back that Glass Cannon takes away, but it of course also takes away our automatic regeneration, so that's why you're seeing me use medikits this match. And again, this is just what I'm using to buff this weapon. You can obviously use whatever you want, but I do think that this is a good representation of how strong the weapon can get. Except for Burning Spirit 3, don't use that, use something else instead. A different mastery is going to be more beneficial in this case, however, it really should not be this way. Burning Spirit 3 should just work fine with this weapon, however, it just doesn't. And I've actually had this issue with a number of other weapons in the past as well, where Burning Spirit 3 just does not affect them. So hopefully Digital Legends does take a look at this and tries to fix this issue. But anyhow, the gun is still really strong like this. However, if you're planning on playing with the Little Italy without using any buffs, try to just have some fun with it and try to not play too seriously, because the gun is definitely pretty underpowered compared to most weapons in the game, and you will have a very tough time competing against higher level players. And as you can see in this match, I'm playing against noobs, I'm playing against people with weapons that really aren't that good, so I probably could have used the standard Little Italy without using any buffs and still come out on top. And it looks like we've reached the end of this match. In the previous one we got 12 kills and 5 deaths, so let's see how many kills and how many deaths we'll get now. And we got 35 and 4, but again, that's playing against noobs. So now I'll give you my final opinion about the Little Italy. So personally, I really do not like this gun at all. I think it's a waste of gold. I think you're much better off spending your gold on the second extra health skill upgrade from the skill tree, which by the way you unlock that one level prior to unlocking the Little Italy, and it also costs 32 gold as opposed to the Little Italy's 40 gold price tag. Or I would recommend saving up your gold until you have 85, that way you can purchase the blunderbuss, which is a way superior weapon. If you do want something like the Little Italy, you know, an assault weapon that's better than the rookie machine gun and the assault rifle, I would personally buy the scoped assault rifle. It doesn't even cost gold, it just costs 10,000 cash, which is way easier to acquire. There are some things that I like about the Little Italy though, like the reload animation with the circular drum magazine looks pretty cool. It's an animation that we've seen with other weapons in the past as well, but the drum magazine makes it look a little bit cooler in my opinion. The Little Italy's design is also pretty cool. It's obviously based off of like a Thompson SMG. I also like the Little Italy's Trick or Treat skin very much. The reload speed and agility are also pretty good, but again, it's just the power that's not there. And that's kind of what kills this weapon for me. It kind of becomes a little bit of a boring weapon to play with, in my opinion. You know, the sounds are pretty generic and boring as well, and the gun again doesn't have the most amount of range. So overall, my opinion on the Little Italy is pretty negative, but let's be real, you probably expected that. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know what you thought of it with a like or a dislike and some feedback in the comments. If you want to support me, please consider subscribing, sharing this video and my channel with anybody who likes this type of content. That's it. That's all. Bye.